listen, when things don't go your way, when things get tough, which we'll talk about in real estate in a minute, can you suffer well understanding that you're going through that because that's fuel for you, that's learning lessons for you, opportunity for you? Are you going to be grateful and thankful that you're getting to experience that tough time? Because that's what it is. It's opportunity. And nobody wants to hear this stuff. When you're in midst of an adversity and you feel heavy, you ever going through tough times and emotionally you actually feel like massive, like heavy. Your heart, your chest, your stomach. That's a phenomenon. That's a legit thing that happens with the material. You become more mass when you're lower emotionally. And I've felt that before. And I realized that, I don't want to feel like that. So even if I'm going through the worst time of my life, if I lose someone, financially, I'm having issues, my businesses are having trouble, no matter what, I'm going to stay uptone emotionally.
All right. Hey, Masters, welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery podcast. Today, we are with Mr. C-Roc. What is up, brother?
What's happening, David? Always glad to be with you, man. And especially, I didn't know we were going to be on Clubhouse, which is pretty awesome. But here on your podcast, great to be here. Gratitude to everybody showing up to listen today. And those who are listening to the replay, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Amen, brother. Man, you know what? I'm going to start. Whenever I see you or hear you, man, you just have a really positive energy about you, a positive attitude, positive demeanor. Like, have you always been like that, man?
I think as a youngster I was, because I was around a lot of brokenness growing up, and I didn't want to be that way, and I didn't want to feel that way. So I just, I think a lot. You ever see comedians that are always funny, right? But then you don't see what's going on behind the scenes. I'm pretty good now, but when I was younger, I would be upset a little bit more when I wasn't around people. And then when I would come around people, I would pump it up. But as I got older, I realized that when you stay uptone emotionally and you stay on the high end of the emotional scale, that things seem to work out better. So I choose to stay up there, even though today, for example, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the weather, the gray skies out there. I don't know what it is, but I just felt a little rough this morning. Even though I got my workout in, I did everything I was supposed to do. I just didn't feel it. I didn't feel the rocket fuel, right? I didn't feel the thrust is a must. But I just decided, like, I'm not gonna stay in this, and I really believe, David, it's a decision,
I know, brother. I love it. It is a decision. We choose how we show up, right? We have a choice every day, every minute. So, well, I appreciate that. And I've been wanting to say that to you for a while. So that just was the opportunity to say that, because I do appreciate your positivity, man, whenever I hear you.
Hey, and before you get to your next question, not to take over your show or anything, but when I am around you and when we were in person in Miami and all that, like, I love to grab onto people that I see potential in. And if I can help in any way, even if they don't want it sometimes, which is probably, I don't know if that's a good thing at all, because I think sometimes it builds resentment in some people, but you know what? I don't have that. I don't really worry about that too much. So I know in Miami, like, you were sharing some things with me and I was like, come on, man. And I really care about you. And as I do for all people, and I see potential. So I just want you to know that when we are in person, I'm hard on people, right? But it's only because I know that, like, if I left an opportunity to help someone and I didn't when I could have, I can't live with myself. So
love that, man. Yeah, bro. Trust me. I know I haven't made it, and I'm on the journey, and I'm always looking for people that are doing big things. And yeah, I love it. I love when people push or challenge. That's what I'm all about. I do the same thing to my client. When people are going to hang around with me, they're going to know they're going to get direct. They're going to get the truth. There's going to be no settling, right? Like the expectations need to be high.
Yeah. And, I think sometimes it pushes people away. I know in my life, it pushed people away, my family. I grew up around a lot of depressed people that were on anxiety and depression medication all the time, and then blaming all their problems on their past, and then telling the story of why they were like this. And I just never bought their bullshit. I would tell people that, I don't believe your story that you're telling yourself. and then I would tell them, like, you need to start telling a different story. And this is at a young age. I don't know where I got this stuff from. And then a lot of them would resent me, though. A lot of them would push back, or not want to be around me. And then, you know what? Then I had to start thinking to myself, you know what? That's fine. Until they want to change and get help, I don't want to be around them anyway. You know what I mean? So some people stop helping people because they're so concerned with people resenting them. And then those folks stay in their environment and hold them back. You know, so I have just a different view on it, and I'm not being held back, and I'm not going to let anybody else be held back that doesn't want to if they're in my environment.
Yeah, 100%. Excuse me. I think it's critical in order to get to the next level to change your environment in a lot of cases. At least in my case, I think, you know, putting yourself around people that are doing bigger things and thinking bigger, and it's just it's helped me tremendously. So appreciate you being one of those people, man. And so let me do a quick bio for you, right? Or an intro. So you're Mike C-Roc, Ciorrocco. Ciorrocco. All right, Mike Ciorrocco. CEO of People Building Inc., co-founder of the innovative tech platform Blooprinted, which I definitely want you to tell us a little bit about that. Okay, the powerhouse behind What You Are Made Of podcast, which I'm excited to be a guest on, coming soon, as well as the best-selling author of Rocket Fuel, Convert Setbacks, and Become Unstoppable. He's a performance expert, author, dynamic public speaker, tech visionary, and thought leader. He's been featured on Yahoo Finance as well as top business, and he's a top business leader to follow in 2023 on a mission to build unstoppable people. I love that, building unstoppable people. So we'll stop there, man. I appreciate the awesome bio, but let's talk about how do you build unstoppable people? Let's start there today.
You know, first of all, everybody's unstoppable. They just don't realize it. And so I think it's making them aware of their abilities. You know, we need to go out and make the able people more able. And then that will help other people that aren't as able because of the role models that you create. But it's really it's really an awareness thing. And what happens a lot of times is we make decisions after failures, and those decisions shape our life. And those decisions could be like, I'm not good enough. I'm not cut out for this. This doesn't work. They don't like me. I'm a loser. Numerous things, whatever decisions you make after tends to come right after a failure or a setback. And we have to go back and revisit those decisions that we've made and then just reverse them, because it's all bullcrap anyway. It's all bullcrap. Like a lot of here's the thing I found out. Okay. Somebody will start a business and they'll go out and try to market the business, and then they'll try to profit from the business, but they haven't even found out if the service or product is really needed. And then they'll judge their sales capabilities, their profitability capabilities to build profit, their capabilities to build processes and scale off of that experience where they didn't even validate the product or service or find out if the need was there. And so they judge things and say they're no good, they're not for business, they're not an entrepreneur based on one little slip up, which was they should have promoted the idea of the product or service first, okay, and seeing if anybody wants it, and then find out if you're good at the other things that follow that. But they base their decision just because they didn't do that one thing right on the whole big picture, that they're not an entrepreneur, they're not worthy of running a business or whatever the case is. So then they don't go out and try again because of that one little thing that they slipped up on. And so those are kind of stupid decisions we come about, you know, in our minds after failure that could not even be nearly true. And so we just go back and revisit those things. And at the end, the other part of this is that we really need to get people to understand that when we're put here on this planet, our job and duty and obligation that we were put here for by our creator was to create. And we are going to create. We're going to do one of three things, David. We're going to create intentionally. We're going to create unintentionally through someone else's desires, and we're going to create for other people, or we're going to destroy. And when you destroy, you go back to the earth. And what I mean by that, you no longer exist on this planet in the body that you're in, right? So those are three decisions. So if you have those three decisions, why wouldn't you choose the one that's intentionally create? And so we just become aware of some simple concepts. When you start looking at these things from a different lens, you wake up in the morning with a different mission and a different want to.
So tell me the three again. So I got create intentionally, create
unintentionally, where somebody else basically is guiding you and creating something for them, good or bad. Okay. And then destruction.
Okay, got it.
And destruction, by the way, when you feel like you can't create anymore, that's when you destroy. And most people most people destroy other things and other people because they don't have the courage to just destroy themselves, or they'll do it slowly through alcohol and drugs. So like I sit back and I've learned a lot of this stuff from experience and watching other people, but I've also done a lot of studying, and we've talked before we went online of some of the things that I've been studying lately. But I see this thing where there's only 3 things that you can do, those 3 things. And then when you watch destructive people, you can start paying attention to the people of what their behaviors are and what their emotions are, and start to predict their behavior. And then you can decide whether you want to keep those people in your environment or away from you, which is a very important decision. And that helps people become unstoppable as well, because there's a thing called suppression. And if you allow the wrong people in your environment, all my problems in life, David, have always come from allowing the wrong people in my environment. And by the way, those people included me at times. I wasn't the right person that I would want in my environment. So yeah, so that's kind of where we start with unstoppable people.
So what do you mean? So, well, there's 2 things. Number one is tell us the difference between creating intentionally and unintentionally.
So when you wake up in the morning, the thoughts, words, actions, environment that you keep, do they have, are they centered around what you want to do and the life you want to have, the life of your dreams, the business of your dreams, the relationship of your dreams? Or is it something that is based off of your parents' wishes for you, the goals that they implanted in you, that you might have picked up from them, that you might have continued on with them from their lives, or your boss, or, you know, people that you're trying to impress? Those are the 2 options: what you want to do versus those other things.
Okay. I love that. So essentially your life, you're actually in it, you're existing either based on what you're doing, like your intention, like where you want to go, who you want to be, or you're existing based on what you think other people want you to be.
Yeah, exactly. Or you might have, like, sometimes people pick up what their parents failed at and continue on with that journey of what their parents failed at.
That's
in relationships, finances, business, and they don't even know they did it.
Yeah.
And so then they're driving the bus of their parents' goals and dreams. And so that's a good analogy to use. Like, you're driving the bus, or you're on a bus somebody else is driving.
Yeah, and I can't see how you can ever be happy that way, because you're always chasing, like, right? There's no path to
fulfillment's not there.
Yeah, fulfillment. That's exactly the word I was looking for. Interesting. That's cool. I've never heard that before. But I think that's so true. And you also said, you were the wrong, you're listening to the wrong person, including yourself. Like, what does that look like?
Well, no, I said environment, like keeping the wrong people in your environment. And at times, I think we all have, and some people are doing it right now, but in my past, I was the wrong person to have in my own environment, right? Like, the reason I'm saying this is that when I'm born, I have certain passions and visions and things I want to do and interests when I'm a baby. And then as I'm growing up into a kid, then those experiences that I have that don't go the way I expect them to, I start having decisions that shape and put layers on top of myself. And then the people around me with their input and their thoughts and goals and discouragements and all that starts layering up. And before you know it, I'm layered up. So I don't even know who the hell I am. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm lost. And so, you know, that person at that point in my environment is not somebody that I would want in my own environment. And I shouldn't be, I'm affecting other people at that point too. I shouldn't even be in their environment. So once I realized this, I start peeling back things and realizing who I actually am and how I came on this planet and why I came on this planet in the first place, you know, why God put me here, and what my desires originally were before I was all experienced up and programmed. Once I realized that, then I can start being clear on who I want in my environment. And then I can be in other people's environments now, because I'm there to build them, help them with their mission and their dreams.
All right. That's awesome. Oh, so by the way, we're live on Clubhouse today as well. And I'm going to open it up in a few minutes for people. If you have any questions for C-Roc, you know, let us know. If you have questions now or something, so just write it down and I'll open up the mics in a few. I'll give you guys an opportunity to ask a question. I want to go into the topic, and then also want to get your thoughts on real estate, because I know we both play in the real estate space. So yeah, let's go first to using setbacks as rocket fuel. You know, I always ask my guests, like, what's the challenge you want to help our listeners overcome, and that was what you had given me: setbacks as rocket fuel, as well as the power of being unstoppable, which we already kind of talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk a lot of things, man. I talk about so many different things, but one of my favorite things is the rocket fuel law. And I wrote about this in the book, Rocket Fuel Convert Setbacks, Become Unstoppable. And it has to do with the fact that all my life, no matter what I went through, we've all got our stories and all have had our hurdles. But I went through a lot of abuse and being around a lot of broken people, right? And no matter what I encountered, I would always figure out a way to elevate. And I didn't realize I was doing this. And so when I turned about 40, David, I started to think and analyze, like, why the hell have I gotten to where I am? Like, how is that possible? Like, based on where I came from and all the stuff that I went through. And I started to realize, wait a minute, I was taking things as they came. And if it appeared that it would stop or slow me down, I would store it in my tank, my fuel tank, instead of my trunk where most people keep the stuff. And anytime I was ever slowed up, it was because I put it in the trunk. And when you put stuff in your trunk, it slows you down and weighs you down. So what I figured out is that I was storing, when I sold, I was storing things in my tank where I could convert it into rocket fuel. And then I would become unstoppable. And if you think about a mission in life, if you have a mission to go in a certain direction, and everything that comes your way that slows you down or stops you, you just turn it into fuel. That makes you go faster and further, and nothing's in your way. So you become unstoppable. And so when I figured this out, I started teaching this to people. Like, listen, when things don't go your way, when things get tough, which we'll talk about in real estate in a minute, can you suffer well understanding that you're going through that because that's fuel for you, that's learning lessons for you, opportunity for you? Are you going to be grateful and thankful that you're getting to experience that tough time? Because that's what it is. It's opportunity. And nobody wants to hear this stuff. When you're in midst of an adversity and you feel heavy, you ever going through tough times and emotionally you actually feel like massive, like heavy in your heart, your chest, your stomach. That's a phenomenon. That's a legit thing that happens with the material. You become more mass when you're lower emotionally. And I've felt that before. And I realized that, I don't want to feel like that. So even if I'm going through the worst time of my life, if I lose someone, financially, I'm having issues, my businesses are having trouble, no matter what, I'm going to stay up tone emotionally. Because I know that if I stay up tone emotionally, I'm vibing right, I know things always work out. Because I look at my past and I realize that my past, that's why I ask myself the question, what are you made of, on the show, right? It's because, what have you been through, man? Look at all the things you survived your whole life. Look at all the things that you've done. Like, why do you think this is going to stop you? Stop acting like that. Don't be a little, wimp, and take this stuff and learn and open your damn eyes and ears and senses and really take it all in to use it for fuel.
Well, so let's go there then. Let's somebody listening now, they're in a funk right now. Something didn't go the way they expected. Maybe they had this big deal they were working on, and all of a sudden, last minute, it falls apart. There's no other deals. They're frustrated. How does someone now, like, based on what you just said, say, "Oh, forget about this. I'm just gonna be positive and keep moving forward," right? Like, what does that look like in that moment?
Well, frustration comes from a low level of responsibility. See, frustration comes from when you feel like you didn't have control of the situation. And to the degree you give up responsibility, you give up control. So that's where the frustration comes in. I get frustrated at times. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, where my level of responsibility, where is it low? And I start to assess things. And when you elevate, it comes from assessing. It comes from being around proximity to people that are further along the journey than you and assessing things constantly, like your liabilities and assets. Grant talks about that a lot. Your level of responsibility, your estimation of effort. Most people underestimate the amount of effort it takes to accomplish something. And so frustration just comes from feeling like that you can't do something about something and out of control. And that's just a low level of responsibility. So what I would say to people that are frustrated or something, obviously, if you only had one deal work and you didn't have enough deals, you underestimated the amount of effort it was going to take to accomplish the dream that you have. And if you want to avoid that, then get more deals and take more responsibility and put more effort in the next time. That's what 10X is all about.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I mean, as it's just, I can imagine for some people in the moment, it's going to be a lot. It's challenging and
Yeah. Look, when you're in the midst of an adversity, the closer in proximity you are to that thing that's happening, the less light at the end of the tunnel, the less hope that you have. But what you need to know, and you need to hear from me right now, is when you're in that moment, that could be considered hell at times. Okay. Winston Churchill said, keep going. Right. That's what he said. You know what I say, right? Where is it? Thrust is a must. You got to move fast through it because if I'm telling you this, I've experienced this, you got to keep going. And then you got to move fast. You want to get it through it fast as possible. And so long as you do that, light starts to appear and hope starts to come back.
I love it.
So yeah, it's hard. But if it's hard, then get the heck out of that situation. Move. And that's what I did today, David. I didn't, like I said, I didn't feel it today. I didn't have it, whatever it is. And what I did was I moved. I got on calls with, I just got off a call right before this thing here with a lady that is unbelievable, one of the top entrepreneurs in the world. And she just lit me back up. And perfect timing for your show.
That's amazing, bro.
So
you want to hear something really crazy? This happened last week. So I had that GrowthCon ticket. I finally sold it. And I was getting so annoyed about it because I bought the ticket for someone. They didn't come through. So, it cost me $8,000 to buy the ticket. And in the best, they were like, I'm going to give you a credit. And it was just on my mind. It was bothering me. And I was in Florida and I woke up. It was, I think it was last Wednesday morning. And I woke up in a funk. And for whatever reason, I just went online and I created a Stripe product with the link for $10,000. And then I went and I had a funnel and I did it myself. Normally I wouldn't even do this. And I took the funnel and I just put the picture of the ticket and I says, okay, GrowthCon diamond ticket available. And I put the payment link on it. And I just started excuse my language. I just started blasting it everywhere. And it didn't even sell until yesterday. But here's the thing, C-Roc, just taking that action, I swear it was wild. Like it was just an aha moment for me, even though I didn't even sell the ticket until 4 days later, but just getting up and taking that action completely took me out of the funk.
Yeah. So did you sell it from that funnel or did you sell it through somebody else?
I sold it through probably somebody saw me, reached out to me. I don't know.
Matter.
I was just supposed to, it doesn't matter.
You're doing something about it. Like instead of sitting there like complaining and blaming the other person for not coming through, which you did for a while, right? We all go through this, by the way. Like no matter how good you get at this, we all go through this moment. It's just a matter of how can you shorten that time in that little whiny mode, right? Little whiny, like wimp mode, I'll call it. And the thing is that when you start to take action, even if it's the wrong action, it's better. The wrong thing to do is nothing. And so when you took that action, I guarantee you that had something to do with it coming through. But
100%.
the other thing, David, is that the person that stood you up, they're going to be who they're going to be, right? The responsibility, this is where responsibility comes in. Yeah. Next time you learn, like, I'm going to get that money first.
100%.
You know,
never
what I mean?
do
like,
that again. Yeah. Never.
Yeah. Like I'm going to get that money first.
Listen, I should have known. It's my fault. 100%. I'm not blaming anybody, but you're getting a little funk and it happens to all of us. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
It wasn't the end for me, but I'm just like, shit, I want my money back. All right, let's do this. I want to open it up. Well, for real estate, you know what? Let's do this. Let's see. We got some people on Clubhouse. Is anybody on Clubhouse? If you want to ask a question to C-Roc, just give me a mic flash.
Yeah, or come on up to the stage, guys.
Yeah. Raise your hand. By the way, we got a bunch of people in the room, so everybody's welcome to raise their hand and come up. Either people, Peyton, Shantae, either of you guys. Yeah, Shantae. Hey, what's going on?
Hey guys.
Yeah, let's go. Okay. Let's go to Shantae first, and then we'll go to you, Peyton.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No, I just had a quick question. So, I always go in your room, C-Roc, and support you as much as I can too, because I love the conversations that you have. They're always very real, very down to earth, on topic, and usually, lots of sense of humor in there. Is there ever a point in time in your life where you know, you just felt like it wasn't going to happen. I know you started your podcast and you started just really expanding, but was there like ever a moment where it just, you were like down, like really, really down, and you were like, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to happen. And what, if so, what shifted in your mindset that allowed you to break that out?
Yeah, you know, it happens often where I'm like, why isn't this moving faster? Is this going to ever work? Am I ever going to get to the promised land? I ask that question a lot. But, you know, I start focusing on what I want and keeping my focus on what I want, because I know what you focus on grows. And the reason that is not just a saying. I study quantum physics, and there's actually, you know, a fact that if you push energy into something, it grows. And so attention, actually, when you have your mind on something, actually sends energy to that something. And people just don't realize this. They think it's all like mindset talk or woo-woo stuff. But when you really grasp this, so I stopped doing that intentionally. Now, I will tell you, when I had a mortgage company that was at a previous, because I'm in the mortgage space as well, for those of you who don't know, and I had a mortgage company that kind of crumbled, you know, around what we were doing back in 2017, and it got to me. And I had a moment where I had 22 employees, their families. I felt like everything was just on my shoulders, and I felt out of control. And I broke down in my kitchen in front of my wife, and I felt like that, what you were just describing. And I was just like, I by the way, identified as my position in that company versus my brand, myself. And that's never a good thing either, because I felt like lost my identity. And I broke down in front of my wife in my kitchen and said, you know what, this will never happen again. I'll never go through this again. And I made a commitment at that moment that I was going to build something around, besides just mortgages, around, you know, my brand, because I didn't want to identify it, you know, and have my identity basically stolen from me because of somebody else doing something wrong. And so at that moment, I was probably one of the lower moments of my life. And I felt that way. But now every single day I go, I want to move faster. Why isn't this moving faster? Is this ever going to happen? I ask that question all the time, except for the fact that more over the last, I would say it's 3 to 6 months, I've really been focusing on what I want and getting rid of all the attention on things that I don't want.
Awesome. Thanks, Shante. Appreciate that question. By the way, there's a link for everybody on Clubhouse. There's a link up at the top, and you can access that whether you're listening on Clubhouse or you're listening here on live or to the replay. davidhill.link, and you can that's a place where you can go and you can subscribe to the podcast. If you're willing to write us a review, it just really, really helps. It's tremendous. Also, we have a marketing workshop coming up February 8th and 9th. So just take a look at that, davidhill.link, and everything you need is there. There's also some free webinars you can download. There's a marketing webinar, 10X marketing commandments, just a lot of really, really great tools on there. So appreciate that. All right. I think the next, Peyton, you had raised your hand as well. How you doing today?
Good. I'm doing great. Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Hope you're having a great day.
Yes, ma'am.
You know how I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, I've been following C-Roc for a while, and I'm really, you know, tuning into everything that he has to offer, and joined his, you know, coaching calls Monday mornings and Friday mornings, which has really helped me with my accountability, and, you know, was just a great way for me to kick off my new year. And I've already met some amazing people. So I highly recommend it. If anyone's listening, if there's still openings, I don't know, might be on a wait list. I'm not sure, but it's just been like amazing for me so far. And it's not even, you know, January's not even over. So I'm just really excited about that. And then, you know, yeah, I mean, his positivity just radiates, right? And it radiates to me in a way that makes me motivated, and, you know, makes me want to get up in the morning and be the best version of me. And then, you know, how I can, instead of having so much chaos in my day and jumping from this to that, you know, like really having intention set and, you know, following the script for my own life. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's just been, I could go on and on and on.
I paid her to
but
say all
literally in the last,
this is good stuff.
You know, yeah, I mean, like when we started beginning of the year, like my life has changed so much already, and my business, has changed, and it's just motivated me to, get started on other side hustles. I'm a single mom, so I got to have, sorry, I had a call come in. I got to have a lot of streams of income going, right? So,
Awesome.
and anyways, I'll get off my soapbox, but all great stuff. Thank you so much, David.
All right. Well, thanks. Yeah, that's a great testimony for C-Roc. So, man,
Hey,
dude,
Peyton, good job, Peyton. Thank you.
I
swear I didn't talk to her beforehand.
Come on, man. See, Shantae, you got to start helping me out like that when you come. I'm just kidding. We appreciate all you guys being
in
here.
all fairness, I think you have two of the most incredible people that are speaking. You've got David and both C-Roc, and both of them are phenomenal with their coaching and their training and everything that they share with everybody. So, in all fairness, they both have helped and changed people's lives for the positive.
Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. I was goofing around, but yes,
he cash apped me $25 real quick.
I did. Absolutely. Always,
man.
always.
And the thing is that any area that I suffer in or that David suffers in, we're there to pick each other up. So
absolutely. 100%. So we probably have time for one more quick question on Clubhouse. I know we have a few more people up here, but does anybody, whoever flashes first, if you had a quick question, I want to keep it to a question. For C-Roc, anybody quick? I'll go. Okay, I guess not. So what we'll do then, C-Roc, let's talk about real estate for a couple minutes, and then we'll kind of figure out. We'll let everybody know how we get in touch with you, and we'll wrap it up for today.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about real estate wise? There's a lot to talk about.
Oh, dude, right? I mean, right? What do you like real estate, right? Like I saw a thing that said they were predicting 30 to 40% of residential real estate agents are not going to renew their license. Did you see that?
No, but I figured that would
100%.
happen at some point. What was that?
Somebody said 100%. I think they were just validating.
I was just saying 100%. We got 2,200 new agents in Brevard County alone here in the state of Florida in 2020, and they have not renewed their license. They can't come up with the money. Sold their own property and they're out.
Wow.
It's tough. Yeah. Tough space to be in. So, and it's, that's the thing. I mean, obviously I coach real estate agents. I know you work with real estate agents as well. And you're seeing a lot of people like legitimately like don't have the money right now to do a $200 a month coaching product, which is interesting because they stopped working 3 months ago because they had a couple closings and now they got nothing.
Yeah. I mean, what it comes down to is most people aren't willing to do what it takes to be successful. I mean, there's still people that are they're still out there making money. They're still doing deals.
Oh, absolutely.
And these times come, it's a reset and people won't renew and they'll get out of the market and then it'll get hot again. And then there'll be people coming back in again. But I just keep my team. Look, we got lean and mean. I had to restructure some things. I'm not making the money in the mortgage space that I'm used to, which is fine. I mean, 2-3 years ago, David, I realized that this was going to happen at some point. So I started working on my brand and started working on different streams of income. And that has created opportunity for me to survive through this and also thrive through this very shortly. So I just, it just comes down to the things that I talk about all the time is most people don't know what they want in life and then they're not committed to that. And so, they're not willing to they underestimate the amount of effort it takes to accomplish goals and dreams and targets. And that's what I'm committed to helping work on with those that want to. If they don't want to, I don't want them around me, truthfully.
Yeah.
You know what? I have this mentorship group that Peyton mentioned, and that mentorship group is designed to put people around each other that want to be unstoppable. And if they don't, and they come in there and we don't see them engaging, they're not doing the things that we talk about, and we're just going to ask them to leave. And there's no room for that. As soon as you lower your standards, you're going to get what you lower your standards to. And that's what's happening in real estate with a lot of people right now. And, look, it's the way it is. It's just the way it happens, man. It's life. When things get tough, those that aren't willing to commit and do the things that need to do, they're going to be the ones that suffer. And so, yeah, I'm okay with it, man. I'm okay with people leaving. I'm okay with people getting out of the mortgage business. I'm okay with all that.
So for people that are like, this is, I was talking to somebody this morning, as a matter of fact, and he was telling me that, it's interesting because you know, I'm not getting the results I was getting. Like I'm still making my calls, but I'm not getting as many results as I was. And I said, well, that's expected because less people are doing stuff. So do you agree that right now it's time to you have to mentally set yourself up to say, I'm willing to do double the work for the same or even less reward,
or do things differently,
okay?
right? Like, or do things differently, do things that are some, you know, like if it takes scrubbing toilets to make money and nobody else is willing to do it, you're going to be a very, very wealthy person, right? Like you got to do things that you're like that other people aren't willing to do. What is that thing? It's self-identify that. Sit down and think about it. What are the things out there? Now, of course, business is slower and you're going to make less money in this environment. But if you just hang in there and while these other folks go out and it starts to turn around, because rates have been trending lower in the mortgage space. And you know, when things start to shake out here, there's an opportunity that you may find a new method, a new activity that you just didn't explore before because things were easier, and then it could change everything. But most people aren't willing to just sit there and be creative and think and do things that, oh, I'm too good for that. I was making X amount of dollars before, and that type of person doesn't do those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I mean,
I remember going back into like 2007 or 6, and we were doing short sales, and there was so many real estate agents say, I would never do a short sale. I would never stoop to that level. And then all of a sudden, you know, a year later, everybody's fighting to try to get short sales.
Yeah.
And we were doing them. We started doing them right away. And it turned out to be a massive opportunity. Like we blew up.
I will say this too. Like there's people that are in the wrong vehicle, right? They have the ability, they have the want to, they have what it takes to be successful in business, and they're just in the wrong vehicle. And some people will stay in the wrong vehicle for a really long time when they shouldn't be in that vehicle anymore. Vehicle meaning real estate, the job, you know, whatever the case is. And you may be holding yourself back by staying in that vehicle, and you think, oh, well, I just don't want to quit. Well, quitting is staying in that vehicle when it's not working. So at some point, sometimes, you know what, you may need to switch something up. And we talk about that a lot. Like check your vehicle, check other streams of income. Where could you put your skills and efforts that in another thing that could you know, help you flourish and prosper right now?
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, my friend. Well, listen, it's always a pleasure to hang out with you. What's the best way for people that want to learn more about what you're up to, get a copy of your book, get in touch with you, any of that stuff? What's
well, a Clubhouse, for everybody that's on Clubhouse right now, you guys, you know how to find me. But Instagram's probably my favorite platform. I just communicate very good on the DMs there. Mikey C-Roc. And David, I'm doing a lot of things, man. I just want to tell you a couple things just in case you didn't know. Yes. You know, we have this thing called the Waymore Group, which is it's a consulting company / mergers and acquisitions company. We just started that last month. Real excited about that. We're helping businesses scale and those that are getting stuck, and also getting them prepared for exit. If they're looking to exit, if they're not looking to exit, we still get them prepared to exit, because a company that's prepared to exit is a better company. And so we're doing that. And also I have the podcast agency, which is absolutely the first business I've ever had that actually blew up right away. And that's where we're helping guests, people that want to be guests on podcasts. We do the booking for them. We set them up with a one sheet, awesome one sheet. We help them with their stories, and we just try to create them to be the best guests they possibly can be. And we have, you know, really good shows that we put them on. And so if anybody's interested in any of that, you know, just reach out to me on Instagram or Clubhouse, either way.
And we never brought up Blooprinted either, bro. My bad. So tell them about Blooprinted, because I think that's a cool product. Yeah,
Blooprinted is instead of a course platform, it's a platform of step-by-step processes. So when I was taking courses and building courses, I realized that most people don't complete courses because nobody wants to watch these long-ass videos. And so I thought there was an issue there. And then I started to realize, if somebody just give me the steps so I can take action and I'll learn on the fly instead of being a spectator, that would make all the difference. So we created Blooprinted, which is a platform that people go in and they create their blueprints, their step-by-step processes instead of a course. And then they sell their blueprints to people. And, you know, Chat GPT's coming in, AI's coming in now, right? And some people ask me, well, is that going to take the place of this? Not necessarily, because the way I do things, Chat GPT may not tell you some of the things that I know because I've experienced them, right? So my blueprint that I might put on there might be different and have more experience built into it versus just the AI's experience. You know, the AI, I will tell you this, I don't care how good it gets, it's never going to be the C-Roc experience. But we're also going to incorporate AI, and somehow we're working on that right now. but that's spelled BLOO printed.com. You can check it out. And there's some people that have blueprints up there already. We launched a few months ago, and we're just constantly innovating.
I love it. I want to, so real quick, Chat GPT, right? So I've been using Jasper for a long time, probably close to a year.
Yeah.
It's similar. I think Chat GPT blew up because it became mainstream so fast, but that technology, and I think of it like this, like if everybody has access to that, then there's still going to be people that are going to up level, right? Like you have to become better than that. Because if you use like Michael Phelps as an example, if everybody swam like Michael Phelps, then there wouldn't even be a competition. Like some people are going to have to step it up to the next level. So I just think it makes everybody have to be better at what they're doing.
Well,
right?
It's going to come down to those that get creative enough for the prompts. Like, what are you prompting Chat GPT to say to you or produce for you? And so it's the same in business, right? If you give me and another person the same team to work for us, right? But I'm a better visionary and I'm a better delegator and I'm a better accountability person, holding people accountable, and a better leader, I'm going to win. So that's what it's the same thing. Like Chat GPT is a tool. It's something that we've had an experience before, but you still need an operator. You still need someone to prompt it. And until, and that's, I'm sure there's going to be things come out on how to use that. And I'm actually looking for someone that's a Chat GPT specialist to build a blueprint on the best prompts and how to work Chat GPT the best, or AI the best, and to create a blueprint around that. So if anybody's interested on that, reach out to me.
That's cool, man.
So yeah,
that's exciting, brother. Well, listen, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for doing this today. Thank you, everybody that's on Clubhouse. We appreciate every single one of you. Again, don't forget to click the link up at the top. Take advantage of the free webinar there. We've got a marketing workshop coming up soon, or just to connect. Everything's there. My socials are all there. So davidhill.link to connect to those socials. So C-Roc, let's wrap it up today, man. I know we went a little over what we planned, but what, like everything we talked about today, and we jumped in a lot of different directions. If somebody just jumped on now and this is the only section of the podcast they listen to, what would you want them to walk away with?
Well, I would wake up with wanting to have a wow life and wow business, because nothing else is worth living or worth doing unless you're doing it wow. Stop being woe is me and be wow is me.
I love it. Be wow is me.
I think that's my title of my next book, David.
Be wow is me. I love it.
Wow is me. No, just what wow is me.
Wow is me. Wow. What does that mean? Wow is me. Like
Instead
wow
of woe is me. Like people feel bad for themselves. Woe is me. Woe is me.
Yeah.
Wow is me.
I'm amazing.
Remember, look, wow is me. It's like saying I am wow.
That's much better to say, right? Than the other one.
Yeah. Woe is me. Who wants to be that way, man? Like you were when you couldn't sell your GrowthCon ticket for a while.
Oh, bro, you got to bring that back too.
No, I'm just saying. I've been there before. You've called me out. I've been
man, it's legit. I was bummed. They told me, oh, the best we're gonna do is give you credit, and I got all bummed out. I thought I was getting my money back, but I got my money back, maybe. But because I took action.
But I want to point something out though. Pay attention to this, because this is something to learn in the future. You got bummed out by some external factor. You allowed something to be cause over you. Instead of saying, you know what, this is happening right now, I'm not letting it get to me. I'm staying up, man. Wow is me. And then everything's going to work out for me. Everything always works out for me. And approach it that way, and not go through that little phase where you did have that.
Yeah.
By the way, I've experienced this stuff, and this is why I'm sharing it with you, because I've experienced this stuff. And I still have to deal with it myself sometimes. And I'm like, I'm not going to live that way. I live, by the way, I know we're going over, but hopefully you're okay.
I'm good, dude. I'm fine.
Listen, there's a 62-year-old man that used to work for me, right? And I had to let him go because his production was low. But he was in the gym every morning, in the same gym I go to. And he has a 9-year-old daughter. And he's always in the gym working really hard. 62. I didn't even know he was 62. He's tanned up, always tan, and great shape. Well, his brother called me the other day. And he said, hey, this is so-and-so. I'm so-and-so's brother. And I'm like, oh man, as soon as I heard that, I figured something was up, because I would have never heard of this, heard from this guy. And this gentleman passed away from a heart attack in his sleep. And here I just saw him just the other day, and he just was working for me. And I would have never thought this guy would have passed away from a heart attack. And he has a 9-year-old daughter, eight or 9-year-old daughter. And I'm like, holy cow, man, like this stuff can just go away. Why would I ever want to invest any of my time into a miserable attitude or miserable feeling? You know, I don't care if it gets tough. I don't care if it gets hard. I don't dude, decide to just decide to be wow, man. Because life is short on this planet. Now, again, I don't know if there's multiple lives that will live in different bodies. I don't know all that. I don't know for sure. Okay. I'm a Christian. I believe I was put here by an all-powerful, omnipotent God. I don't know what happens though. Okay. I assume that we're going to have, I don't know for sure. Right. But while we're in this vehicle here, this vessel that we're in, it's a short period of time, man. And we don't know when it's going to end. So I'm choosing to go all out, be successful, and have the greatest attitude possible at all times.
Bro, 2 things I know right now. Number one is I have Jared Glant on tomorrow. We're going to be here tomorrow at 3:00 with Jared Glant, who runs Grant's whole operation. And then we have Barbara Majeski as well at 2:00. Awesome. So I know that. And then the second thing I know is I have a hot yoga appointment at 4:30 in 40 minutes from now.
Oh, shoot.
And I have not taken hot yoga in like 2 years, and I'm excited to go, baby.
Get it, man. Go get it.
C-Roc, I appreciate you, sir, man. Looking forward to this one. And thank you for your time today.
I appreciate you too, brother. All you guys on Clubhouse. Love all you guys.